Well, well, dear, I think we should go out tonight. What do you say? Come on, let's go. Today I'm going to show you how you can make that for yourself. Thanks for excusing our silliness there. First thing you want to do for the bolts on the side of the head is to take a wine cork and cut it in half. Then you're going to wrap that with duct tape. Make sure you trim off any excess because it will be a lot neater that way. And then you want to cut little slits at each end of the duct tape tube and just fold down the ones on the probably the nicer end. And that's going to be the end of the bolt that you see. Now on the other side, and I realize this is a much better way to trim the duct tape, is to use an X-Acto knife. Just cut the slits that way and then set it on a piece of wax paper until you're ready to use it. So I had already done the other one. Now to make the staples, you just want to cut off a couple pieces of duct tape or use any scraps you have left over and just trim them into little strips. And then you can cut them to length as needed, or you can, cut them to length on the wax paper. So here we go. We're putting the bolts on first. I like to put the duct tape pieces on first because I know it's going to stay really well. If you have sensitive skin, you may not want to do this, or you might want to put on some moisturizer first so that it doesn't stick too well. You could always put like a little bit of just lotion on it, face lotion, that will work. Though I had the bolts on crooked apparently. My husband's very chatty here, and oh look, there's my daughter. One of them, the other one. Oh yeah. Video bombing the tutorial. So now I'm sticking on the staples around his face because I want it to kind of look like the face has been stitched on. Just kind of fun special effects there. Pay no attention to the girl behind the makeup tutorial. All right, I've got a little bit of green cream makeup and white cream makeup on my hand, and I'm using a foam cosmetic sponge to put a thin layer of the green on. Now I've noticed that when I'm using the face paint, this cream makeup, you kind of want to let it set up before you try to go ahead and do like any other shading on it. So that's why I just have the green and white at this point. You want to make sure you get even coverage. And the nice thing about this is it doesn't tend to flake off. The green stuff I got at Kmart, and it was like $2 a tube, and the white stuff was from Wal Mart in that big kit that I showed you during my Bride of Frankenstein tutorial. I do find the green seems to be a little bit better quality. Now I am mixing a little bit of the white in and just kind of contouring a little bit. I'm going across the eyebrows, along the bridge of the nose, and the top of the cheekbones, just to give it a little bit, make it stick out more, because the lighter colors are going to come forward and darker colors will go back. And so the green has set up a little bit. I did go back over with the white just to make sure it will stick. And I'm doing the eyelids lighter because I want the eyelids to look heavy, kind of like the, oh, give him a kiss there. Have it look like the movie Monster makeup. Now I'm using the grease paint that came in that $6 Walmart makeup kit to kind of put some purpley bruisiness under the eyes. And I'm also doing the cheekbones in some kind of black and purple. And it helps if you can get the person you're making up to suck their cheeks in, so you can kind of get that natural hollows of the cheek. So you can, it's a lot easier to kind of keep it symmetrical and make it look right. I'm doing a little bit of black under the eyebrows and also under the eyes. I want the eyelids to look kind of puffy and heavy, but I want the eyes to look deep set and the eyebrows to look pronounced. So I'm just going in there and along the sides of the nose just to make the facial features look a little more severe. Above the highlight I put on the eyebrow, I'm doing more of that dark because I want that ridge of the eyebrow to just be really heavy, kind of like the original Frankenstein monster. And I'm using some of that purple on the lips, again, to get kind of that bruisey, just kind of, undead look. Now I'm using, I get those little crayons that came in the kit. They're a little bit easier to manage for like the eyebrows. So take full advantage. If you get that full kit of makeup, it was like $6.95 or something. Take advantage of the crayons. They're a lot easier to handle. Now I'm using one of my eye pencils, just a black eye pencil, to trace around the green where I've put it on there. I want it kind of to look like the face is stitched on. I'm making dots, and those dots are kind of going to be like the holes, the stitching holes. So it just makes it look a little bit more realistic, I guess. Not that this is realistic, but you know what I mean. It just gives it a little bit of an extra flair. You can see around the face really good there. So I've done pretty much the same thing on each side. You do have to sharpen the pencil a lot as you're doing this. I'm just connecting the dots here to make the stitches. I think it's a really realistic look. Now I'm putting shadows around the staples just to make them stand out a little bit more. If you got any makeup on the staples, you can take a Q-tip and wipe it off. You can put a little bit of water on the Q-tip and wipe it off too if it's already dried. This makeup lasted really well. I'm doing this makeup at about 6 p.m. and it stayed on all night till I think we got home around 1, and it was still on there really well. Now the fake blood that kind of came in that makeup kit, it's kind of useless except for the fact that it works really well for kind of painting right along the scars, kind of give it a little ooziness. Now I'm not sure if my husband's allergic to this or what, but he's like sneezed 3 times since I'm putting on the fake blood. So word to the wise there. It's probably like corn syrup or something. I don't know. I didn't taste it or anything, but it's probably, benign, I hope. And just going around anywhere I put the black marks. It does dry a little bit lighter, but, so it's not going to be as bright as like, the red crayon or anything. Now, guys just absolutely love having eyeliner put on their eyes. It doesn't make them feel like you're going to stab them in the eye at all. They have no problem with this whatsoever. That's probably the most uncomfortable part of the whole thing was the eye makeup. All right, and there you have it. That's pretty much the finished makeup. I did decide to color his hair a little darker, and I'm using some hair wax to make his hair stick up. And I wanted to pull it. I want to make his head look a little square, so I'm trying to pull the hair up on the side so it squares it off a little bit, and that hurts. So he's making faces. And now this is just some black hair spray paint. The wash is right out, and I'm just kind of using my hand as a mask to keep it off his face, and I'm really dousing him with the black spray paint. I think that really completes the look. I'm going to show you some stills in a second, and I didn't put as much hairspray on. That was the kind of the prototype makeup I did before, so he doesn't have all that black hairspray on those pictures. Now for the shackles, don't y'all want to make shackles for your husband? I'm using plain hardware store duct tape for this, and I'm cutting off about 9 inches, but really I think for a man's cuff you need it to be around 11. I had to make his bigger. The 9-inch worked for me. So you need 2 of the same length, and you want to flip one over and then put the other one down and offset it about 1/2 inch on the side and about 1/4 inch on the top. And I'm cutting off the little corner there, and I'm going to fold down the top edge of the duct tape. You don't want any sticky edges, and do the same on the other side. And this is really comfortable and lightweight to wear, so it's kind of fun for special effects. Now you just put your 2 ends together. They're sticky, so they'll stick together really well. And I decided I would just go over that and make it a little bit extra strong. There we go. So now you have just basically like a bracelet here. See, it fits me great, but I did need it a little bit larger for my husband. Now, for the chain link, you want to cut a nice long piece of duct tape. It doesn't really matter. You can always cut more, so measurements really aren't that important. And you're going to flip one over, and then you're just going to offset the second one, so you're going to end up with a sticky on each side. Then take a pair of scissors, and you're going to cut this strip into about 1/3 of an inch pieces. And each piece is going to make a link of the chain link bracelet, or the chain that's hanging from the cuff, so it looks realistic like shackles. And now you need to have something to attach it to the bracelet. So I've cut about a 5-inch piece and then 2 3/4 inch pieces. Fold the 5-inch piece in half, and then trim along the edge so you don't have a sticky bit there. And then you're just going to tape that to the cuff to make a loop. If you have it too long, cut off any excess so it looks nice and neat. That way you don't have any ends that are going to catch on anything. And now you just feed the ends through the loop. And since you have 2 sticky ends there, you can just fold them down and stick them together. And don't worry if you have a little gap of stickiness, because when we go to finish it and add the paint to it, it's going to take away any of that stickiness. It didn't get stuck to anything. It wasn't, pulling off anybody's arm hair or anything. So I just wanted to let you know that. Don't be afraid if you have any stickiness. This is just such an efficient way to make these chains that it's all right to have the gap there. There's no less wasteful way to make these, and you could actually save this from year to year. It's a very durable accessory. That's what I like so much about the duct tape accessories, is that they're quick, easy, cheap, and they last. Just keep on doing that until you have the chain as long as you want it. Now to color it, I'm using some acrylic paint, in brown, gold, and a little bit of green to give it that kind of rusty patina look. And you want to use a sponge, or if you don't have a sponge, you can wrinkle up a paper towel or a tissue or a baby wipe and use that to apply the paint. You just want something so that you don't get it really uniform. A sponge just works really well for that if you have one, but so does a wrinkled up paper towel. And then just dab on the duct tape. And you might be thinking that's probably going to flake off. It didn't. It stayed really well, and maybe that's because I was using a heavy-bodied artist acrylic paint, but I think the craft acrylic paint would be fine. Just make sure you don't add any water to it. You want to keep it pretty thick and strong on there. And there you go, a pair of his and hers cuffs for your costume. Doesn't get any easier than that, does it? I think they just came out fantastic, and actually both of our costumes were really comfortable, and we had a great time at that party that night. So once you've got that all painted, you can have a look here. This one's already dry. I think it looks pretty darn good. And here you can see some pictures of us in our costumes. It was a super fun party, inexpensive to make the costumes. The jacket was just a Goodwill find for like $7. So, you know, go there if you don't have a jacket that you can use. And if you like this tutorial and you'd like to see how I made the Bride of Frankenstein costume wig and makeup, make sure you click on that button right there. And if you're not a subscriber and you'd like to be, click the subscribe button. We'd love to have you. I want to thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful Halloween. Until next time, happy crafting.